A warm welcome to everyone. Indeed, I am sure that this session is going to be an eye-opener for many of you because whenever we plan to join any organization, there are a lot of doubts in our mind with respect to how would be the training, what would be the salary, how do we get the postings, what about the home postings, transfers, promotions policies, work culture, and all that. So it encompasses a lot of things that we need to know, but there is very less information available on that. So today we have an expert with us who would be guiding us through all the questions that I would be asking on your behalf, and I would be giving you a chance to ask your questions also. But before I introduce my expert, I just want to give a disclaimer on an information which is very crucial for you to know that the information that would be shared by our expert during this session is mainly for journal guidance for the prospective candidates who are preparing for SEBI Grade A. It is based on the experience of the sir. The expert here, that is sir, is not a formal authority who is talking on behalf of SEBI. Rather, he's talking based on his experience of working in SEBI for so many years. So in case you have any doubt, you want to know about any particular information in detail, I would suggest you to it's best to go to your employer, that is SEBI in this case, and the SEBI's view would be final, and that would be, I think, a valid proof for you also, the communication that you get from SEBI, in case you have some legal complications later. So that is a disclaimer, and now I want to welcome our guest for today, that is Piyush Gupta sir. So, hi, sir. Welcome to this session.
Yeah. Hi.
So, I'll just give a brief introduction of Piyush Gupta, sir, and then we will start with the question straight away. I know it's precious time of yours, and we have very less time. We just have 1 hour. So, Piyush, sir, worked for 25 years with Securities and Exchange Board of India, and he superannuated in December 2018 as head of Investment Management Department, which also includes mutual funds and alternative investment funds. So his experience spans over 42 years of management positions across regulatory, banking, and corporate sector. He has been regional director SEBI Western Regional Office. He has been inquiry and adjudication officer at SEBI, head of Northern Regional Office, besides being divisional chief of erstwhile FI, which is now called FPIs, Foreign Portfolio Investors, and Custodians Division. He has been actively engaged in policy formulation and regulation of mutual funds, alternative investment funds, VCFs, PMS, investment advisors, etc. Policy formulation and regulation of FPIs and custodians, formulation of policy in secondary markets, and many other related areas. He has also represented SEBI in various national and international forums such as IOSCO, Securities and Future Commission Hong Kong, Securities Commission Malaysia, etc. He has also been a member of IOSCO Working Group on Exchange Traded Funds, member of World Bank study groups on non-debt flows and short-term debts, as well as several committees set up by the Government of India and state governments on various aspects. He has done his graduation with honors in science, and he also has an MBA degree in finance. So that's a brief introduction. So, sir, I formally welcome you to this session. Indeed, I'm sure that this session would be giving us a lot of information and insights about SEBI Grade A. So I just want to mute everyone here. Sir, are you able to speak? I'm just giving you the option to unmute.
Yes,
fine. I've muted everyone as of now because some unwanted noise is coming from your side. I've just now Piyush sir and me would be able to talk.
Yes, let's go ahead.
So, sir, yeah. Anything to say, sir, or can we start?
We can start right away.
Okay. So, sir, with your kind of experience in SEBI, my first question is, now SEBI is a very important institution in our capital market sector. How have you seen SEBI evolved over the years?
It's a difficult question, but rather it will be something which can be judged by people. Actually, It is not just SEBI, but people should look at how has SEBI evolved the markets over the years. Have the markets evolved? Have the total securities market, is it safer, faster, and more efficient? If that has happened and it has spread, also the thing is it has spread. That spread, I mean, we can safely say that previously, before setting up of SEBI, we had about 22 stock exchanges, and where the trading used to take place. Now, and you had to physically go to such stock exchanges, those places, or reach such places either physically or through a phone call or something. Today, the exchanges are through the internet. The exchange is through the internet. Anyone can trade from anywhere. And basically, we are left with two major stock exchanges, and also over time, commodity exchanges have also come under the purview of SEBI. So there are two commodity exchanges also very actively working. So, and SEBI has evolved over time in terms of the regulations, in terms of bringing up the new developments, the change from physical to electronic markets, the securities from physical to electronic format, the dematerialized format, the screen-based trading. There are so many things. So, I mean, that if we start, I think we are going to have breakfast here.
Yes. Indeed, sir. SEBI has done some good work. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I think the scams like Harshan Mehta, Ketan Parekh scam are thing of the past now. And I usually see a lot of news where SEBI is also heavily fining people who are indulging in insider trading or violating the regulations. So they're very active. That's good. Now, what about your personal experience, sir? You've worked in SEBI for so many years. So how does it feel at this stage? When you've worked in SEBI for so many years, is it like feeling of satisfaction or a feeling of achievement or a kind of a feeling where you feel you could have done more?
See, always there is a room for doing something more, but then you have to, there are constraints of time and all. And, but basically what one looks at, or rather I have been always looking at that how I can contribute to make the markets better, to make the regulation better, to bring it closer to the people, to remove malpractices, to assure people that look, whatever they want to do is possible, to ensure that what the prices they get, they are fair, markets are transparent. Now, if these aspects people feel that they have been achieved, then SEBI success is there, and I have a small contribution which I could make to the whole process.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. And sir, you would have been in SEBI at that time when it was really evolving at a very fast pace. I mean, it was a new organization. So how was the work culture at that time, or rather not the work culture, I would talk about work culture later. How was the workload and the timings, the holidays that you used to get during your working routine at SEBI?
See, work initially was very hard because I was kind of the first batch of open recruitment which SEBI did. SEBI was set up statutorily set up in January 1992. And then they came out with the advertisement soon after. I remember that I think I appeared for interview sometime in September, October 92. So that's the kind of the first batch of officers which SEBI took directly. And we were totally in a physical market. We were handling physical markets. We were handling physical securities. We were coming out from the Harshad Mehta issues, and people were very worried and lot of complaints. I mean, I remember we used to have complaints, our kind of cupboard full of complaints. And plus SEBI's setting up itself was a remarkable thing. No one ever imagined that you would require a registration. At that time, only it was the brokers who were members of stock exchanges which had some kind of a registration or a membership of a stock exchange. Other than that, every other intermediary was working on, I want to set up this thing, so I can do it. I am a registrar to the issue. If I If I can manage allotment and all, I am registered to the issue. I have contacts, I can be a merchant banker. I can be underwriter. So the obligations, if you could fulfill the obligations set out for such intermediaries as per the Companies Act, and you had the resources, you were you could be in business. No one was talking that what should be your standards, what should be the standard for you to maintain, what kind of infrastructure you should have, what kind of people you should have, with what procedures you should have, what kind of safety safeguards you should have. So when SEBI was set up, and very at a very fast pace, it came out with regulations for merchant bankers, underwriters, the registrars to the issue, bankers to the issue, everything. It came on, kept on happening. In 1996, we came out with a regulation for the custodians. Everyone was not covered. Slowly, everyone is getting covered. So, because all these people are very important intermediaries in the market, and they are impacting the public money. They are impacting public funds. So it is necessary that there are certain standards put in place. There are certain capitalization, capital adequacy norms put in place, and someone is there to implement them, supervise them, and implement them. The overall aim is to make markets efficient, safer, and more liquid.
Great, sir. And sir, one more question about your personal experience, then we will have more questions related to students' doubts. One of the major attraction to a student who is joining a regulatory body like SEBI is about working in a policy making. And I'm sure policy making won't come to somebody at the start. I mean, you need some experience in that. But at your time, policy making would have been happening very fast. I mean, there were a lot of lack of regulations at that time. So what kind of thought process, timings, procedures are part of those kind of policies which are going to impact so many people?
See, this was it is a continuous process. It is a continuous process. It was okay, initiated during 92, 93. It was initiated, but there are more areas. It keeps on evolving. It keeps on evolving. In fact, it's possible that the initial regulation that we put out, over time, the market dimensions have changed. So SEBI has not shied away from it. We have totally kind of rewritten the regulation. SEBI substantial acquisition and takeover regulation has been rewritten. Mutual fund regulation has been rewritten. Totally fresh regulations have come. Insider trading regulations have again come. There were no norms for public issues. So now we have disclosure and disclosure norms for that, which has been made into a regulation. Listing obligations and norms have also been put as a regulation. So while initially regulations were put in, and they are supplemented, they are amended over time as per need by circulars. But if need be, and the market dimensions have changed, we have not shied away from rewriting our regulations.
But sir, do you take, I mean, what kind of thought process goes into, I mean, obviously there would be a lot of people sitting in SEBI and trying to make a regulation, looking into various aspects. What other things go into that? Do you take market inputs? Do you call expert from outside? I mean, how does it go?
It is a kind of everything is a part of it. In case we feel that such certain area requires to be looked into and some more regulation is required, we may set up a study group on that, a working group, and which will comprise of, besides the SEBI officials, it will comprise of market professionals, senior market professionals, not just people who are doing their profession, but even chartered accountants, lawyers, and even academics, people, I mean, professors from IIMs or IITs, as the case might be. So this group would formalize something, and their report thereof, their views would be put out for public consultation as a consultative paper. And then again, people get a chance to come to those issues. Once those issues are, SEBI gets the response of public also on that, then SEBI would compile all those and decide on the regulation. and the regulation would thereafter be notified. So it's a process which is not totally, it's nothing hidden about it. So all the facets are generally in public domain beforehand.
Thank you, sir. So now let's move on to some of the topics or the areas where students have a lot of concerns or they are very inquisitive about knowing that. So my first area would be, sir, about the bond. If SEBI has any bond. So, sir, when you joined or during the present time, is there any bond signed between the employer and the SEBI that they have to work for a certain years with SEBI?
Um, Although SEBI spends a lot of money on the people, SEBI spends a lot of money, but SEBI has, at least till my time, there was no bond. No bond was insisted on unless someone is sent for a very specialized training and all that, which is very expensive. But normally there would not be a bond. Although I can tell you SEBI spends a lot of money in training the people and bringing them to the level that they can join the come to the desk and start doing the work. There's a lot of expenditure.
And so some people who are joining from other organizations like PSU to SEBI, so they might have a bond in PSU. So is there any policy where a bond can be transferred from existing public sector unit to SEBI in case person is joining from PSU to SEBI?
See, in case someone is joining from a central government, state government, or a PSU and has a bond, then those people can take up with the SEBI office, the HR department, whether SEBI would take up this bond. SEBI says that we may take up. It will depend on circumstances of the case. It is not something that it will be done, but it is something like SEBI says we may take up the bond. The unexpired bond liability can be taken up by SEBI for such an employee.
So that's a possibility,
but,
guys.
But in no case any private bond would be taken up.
Okay.
If you're coming from a private organization, no question of taking it up.
Thank you, sir. So next area that I want to talk about briefly is again about the training, because a lot of people who join SEBI are from non-commerce background also, at least more than 50%, around 50 to 55%, those who are engineers or other backgrounds. Now, sir, I'm sure, I mean, I've listened a lot about the training program. So first of all, where does the training happens after one joins SEBI through this recruitment process? Is there a in-house training process or is it outsourced?
Only at like when we had joined, then SEBI did not have that kind of infrastructure, and SEBI did rely on sending people outside. But over time, SEBI has now set up an institution called National Institute of Securities Market. It is an international standard securities training institute. Not national, it is international. It is located in a large campus in Patal Ganga, and where we conduct the training programs. It's a fully residential training program.
Okay, it's fully residential. So you stay there only.
So you have to stay there. I mean, whoever is there, they have to stay there. They'll be allotted accommodation and everything is taken care of. It is a complete mini city in itself, with the library and your recreation area and lecture halls and everything.
And sir, what is the curriculum in the training? It's like what you are going to do on the job. I mean, hardcore training, or is it like on the basic concepts that you need to know about the capital markets and all that?
It'll be an overall thing. Like it'll start first with SEBI and then HR policies. What people, as you are asking, or rather people want to know now. In the training, people who are selected, they will themselves be having sessions. Detailed session which will be taken by the HR department or establishment department for them, and all the queries can be answered by authoritatively that way. And then it will be covering each area like secondary markets, stock exchanges, registrar and transfer agent, mutual funds, takeovers. So on that individually there'll be sessions on that. and there could be a sessions plus case study and things like that. That's the way the training program is designed, and
So
it will be taken by SEBI people as well as industry experts
okay, fine,
as visiting faculty.
great. And is there any evaluation during training, sir? If yes, is there any chance that somebody can fail in that training?
Uh, it is a training, not an exam.
Hmm.
The possibility of failing or passing is when you're on the job. Your
Hmm.
performance is on the job. Here you are being imparted training.
Hmm.
You're one is equipping the people to be able to handle the department. Your actual work or actual on hands-on training starts when you're posted to a department, and there you actually start handling files or cases that way. So evaluation is definitely done, but it will not impact into sending the person home from there,
And
unless it is an otherwise a misconduct.
ethical issue obviously would be a serious issue. But obviously, if not, it's not about hardcore evaluation. But would the performance that you show in your training, would that be a criteria to allocate a particular department to you after the training?
See, that is something which is internal thing.
Hmm.
That's rather not talk on that.
Okay. So the next topic, which is very close to the heart of people, is about the salary. Though I, as a mentor, always stress upon the fact that it is the learning that you should be looking at during the first 10 years of your career. But since there is a student demand, so I would just like to briefly talk about the salary. First of all, sir, I would like to take your advice that you would like to give to the youngsters sitting here, how and why they should be prioritizing the learning rather than salary during their first 10, 15 years in SEBI, or maybe throughout their career.
See, as I mentioned, SEBI does a lot of work and it is working for.
Your voice is not coming. I need to unmute you. Just unmute yourself, sir. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's fine, sir. Now, sir, fine.
Okay. Okay now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. So see, first you have to look into what SEBI does is basically for the public, for individual investors and investors to be.
Hmm.
Not just that. I mean, you have to make the ground safer for everyone. So what lot of work to be done, and you should look in terms of contribution. And what I can tell you, SEBI, the pay and perquisites which are being offered by SEBI are amongst the best which are being offered by any public sector organization in India.
Hmm.
It takes care of the people. The organization takes care of the people. It has been set up by the government, but it works like a corporate.
Hmm.
So people should be prepared to work like that. If you can contribute, that's the benchmark that you have. So I don't think so. People have to worry on those areas, and especially, see,
Hmm.
organization is taking care of you. Please
Hmm.
understand. You have to do your work. Organization will take care of you. That's
Hmm.
it. You don't have to look in terms of like no one is going to. You don't have to look for. I mean, bag full of money and all that.
Hmm.
That's not. That's not the thing. Public service is not meant for that.
Right, sir. And sir, how do the increments happen? I mean, I know there would be a standard procedure and a cycle for the increments, but more or less they are performance based, or they are more time based.
Performance based. I mean, see, time based. Yes, time based is. It will happen every year. You get an increment in your this thing.
Hmm.
So that happens, and what further will happen is your promotional revenues. So
Hmm.
that will impact. That's
Hmm.
it. That is going to impact. So
So,
otherwise, increment is every year.
and sir, a lot of people have doubt about the HRA allowance. So SEBI has a component of HRA allowance. So many people ask that now, if they join SEBI, should they be opting for the accommodation? if SEBI provides that. I'm not sure whether SEBI provides any accommodation option, or they should just simply bag HRA and take their rented accommodation of their own. I mean, which is more suitable.
See, these are things which are left to the individuals. This is not something which SEBI will do. But I'll tell you something which now this aspect is kind of unique to SEBI, that it gives a um, very substantial housing allowance. It gives a very substantial housing allowance, which is at, I think, at a grade A with a basic of 44,500. The housing allowance is about 38,000 rupees. So almost 90% of it, of basic, you also draw as that amount you can draw as a housing allowance. Now the choice, what happens is people who come, they are mostly bachelors. Mostly bachelors, so they have a choice. SEBI has flats. SEBI has some flats, but SEBI is actually actively encouraging people to acquire their own flats. So by giving you such an allowance, SEBI is encouraging you. So initially, initially what happens is that a lot of people, they're bachelors, they 2-3 people join together and take a 2-bedroom flat. Rental is expensive in Bombay. Rental is expensive, but 2-3 people can join in and take a flat on rent, and they save a lot of money. They save a lot of money on that. And thereafter, once they settle down, they can opt for a SEBI accommodation as available, or they can think of buying their own flat and use this money as an EMI towards their EMI. So this is kind of the hidden perk, which I think every organization is not offering. Other organizations are either offering an HRA, and if you take accommodation, they deduct some amount out of a salary. But SEBI component is slightly different.
And so what are the different kinds of allowances, if you can tell in brief? Not the amount, just the type of allowances that one gets in SEBI.
Yeah, I think that is all written in the advertisement notification. Let's not get into that. That's nothing to be talked of, and including that the gross salary has been mentioned.
Yes, it has been mentioned, and allowances are also mentioned. You're right on that.
So that's
so one very important question, which a lot of people ask, even the serious aspirants do ask about this. SEBI is a very good organization. It gives you very good learning opportunities, very good exposure. You have a very good peer group. But are there any opportunities in the private sector after you have worked in SEBI, say for 10 years? If somebody wants to move on, though I'm sure very less people would like to move on, but if you want to move on just to have other kind of exposure or to earn more money, are there any opportunities in the private sector? And if yes, what is stopping people from going on that side? Because I see very less people leaving SEBI and joining the private sector.
No, very less people leaving. It is a kind of, it keeps on happening. SEBI people are in demand. A lot of people have left, and they are in very good positions outside. In fact, should people want to know, Nihal Vora, who is presently CEO and MD and CEO of CDSL, is an ex-SEBIite. A lot of people from SEBI have moved out at different stages, and they are having senior positions in either banks or other intermediaries, both in India and abroad. Not just here. A lot of people are there who have moved on to good organizations, both India, abroad, and even joined foreign regulators. So that depends on your ability and your skill.
And any kind of skills or any kind of exposure in a particular department in SEBI which opens up more opportunities in the private sector?
I don't think so. There's something specific. It depends on the role that you are doing and what is being offered to you.
Okay. So my next area that I would like to discuss, is about the work profile, though we have just touched upon that in few of the questions. Now, as a fresher, when say I join SEBI, what are the responsibilities I would be given? Because I mean, if I see students whom we are mentoring, they're very naive. I mean, they don't know even A of capital markets as of now, as in how do they work practically. So, what kind of responsibilities are given, and how SEBI makes sure, or how managers make sure that they learn on the job?
See, initially, as a fresher who comes, he would be first asked to read the Bible of,
Hmm.
as they say, Bible or Gita or Quran or whatever. If you SEBI Act, you start with SEBI Act and go to the specific regulation. If you are posted to mutual fund, then you start reading the regulations which are specific to mutual funds, alternate investment funds,
Hmm.
the uh, uh, venture capital. So you have to make yourself thorough in that,
Hmm.
and the circulars which have been issued till that time. Then you will be handed over some file. You'll be handed over some file, and there would of course be someone who's to um, who will be kind of a contact person, a mentor or something like that. So you would be directly working under another senior officer that way.
So, I mean, there would be proper hand-holding while you are starting at SEBI.
Yes, and initially there will be some handholding.
And sir, how is the work culture? I mean, is it? I know it's a very professional organization, but at the same time, it's kind of now semi-government. I would say not semi-government. I don't know what to call it. But is the culture totally corporate, or there are some elements of culture being bureaucratic in that? Now, I would like to quote. I mean, our ex-governor Raghuram Rajan, who talked about RBI. He said once that no, RBI has a lot to improve in terms of its work culture and performance appraisals, like no, that high performing individuals should be given more raise as an standard raise, and the organization needs to be more dynamic. So I'm not comparing SEBI with RBI because it's a
Hmm.
different organization, but how do you see it? I mean, it's totally corporate, or is it a mix of corporate and a bureaucratic culture?
See, vis-a-vis following the processes have been set in place. The I mean, no one can shy away from the thing to say that you are a PSU set up by the government. There'll be norms of the government with you,
Hmm.
but there is room, always room and encouragement for people who um, who kind of perform on their own. There's a lot of room given for that, and it is that individual commitment which kind of makes you shine. So if anyone wants to take life easy,
Hmm.
look, life easy. I'll I will not come at 9 o'clock. I'll come at 10 o'clock.
Hmm.
So it will happen, but then what will happen? It'll get, you'll get marked on that. You'll be given, your supervisors are going to pull you up, and things will be a problem.
Hmm.
So on the other hand, and there are people who they're self motivated. We have SEBI. If anyone visits or anything, there it is full of
Hmm.
excellent people, both male and female. Ladies are not far behind.
Hmm. Good
I
to know.
have I have had some wonderful officers and people while in SEBI they have done their PhDs in securities market. So the executive director who's handling HRD at the moment is a PhD, which he acquired while in SEBI.
Hmm.
There are other people working towards their higher education, PhDs, their CFAs. Lot of things people do.
Hmm.
So
Sir, you just mentioned about upskilling or doing PhD. So I'd just like to ask further question on that. Are there any opportunities where SEBI supports you for further studies, either in terms of time or money?
um, see, there are two aspects to it. One is doing a full-time course, and other is that you want to upskill. by doing a part-time course.
Hmm.
So for a full-time course, you are eligible for a study leave, but which will happen after you have put in about 5 years of service
Hmm.
of, of confirmed. Once you are confirmed in this, and you want to go for further studies, admission and all that person himself or herself has to secure,
Hmm.
and they have to find their finances. Once they have completed the course satisfactorily, then SEBI would reimburse the fee for that.
Okay.
SEBI would reimburse that fee which they have incurred on that
Hmm.
course
Hmm.
after successful completion. Now, on the other hand, you can have some. This happened with a study leave. You
Hmm.
went for a study leave,
Hmm.
but you could be doing certain courses along with your some diploma courses. There are courses with Bombay Stock Exchange, NSE, etc., which you could be attending in the evening. So for those also, it is a kind of similar provision
Hmm.
that you can do the course. It should
Hmm.
be a year duration. The norms would be there, and
Hmm.
once you have completed it successfully, then you can ask submit the papers to SEBI, and SEBI would reimburse the fee and fee etc. aspects to you.
Okay. So SEBI doesn't have any particular tie-up with any colleges or as such. You join a college of your choice. I mean, a course of your choice, and if I think comes under the purview of SEBI, they will reimburse your fee after the study.
Yes, of course, you should be doing a course which is related to capital market or economics, something related to the job
Hmm.
that way.
So coming back to the work profile, at what level you actually start making contribution in the policy making, or is it right at the fresher level, or maybe say after 2 or 3 promotions? Concrete. I would say concrete contribution to policy making.
See, SEBI under the new chairperson has had certain reorganization in
Hmm.
which the operations division and policy division, supervision division have been segregated. Previously, what used to happen that any person would be, I mean, you could be doing policy in your own department, in your own division or section, you can say. So now specifically policy division has been set up in every department. So they would be developing policy. And even a grade A officer can be posted to that division. It's
Okay.
not that you
Hmm.
have to be a grade C or grade D to be that division.
Hmm.
It will be staffed from top to bottom.
So it's not about the level; it's mainly about the department where you're posted in will decide how much contribution you're able to make.
You
I mean, if
can things are pretty open. If you have an idea, you're finding that what is happening is not correct, and you can have a better you have better thoughts on that something. You
Hmm.
can always put across that idea to your
Hmm.
senior, and who will say,
Hmm.
okay, you make a paper on that.
Hmm.
If you have an idea, then you make a paper on that, and we'll then consider that thing
That's nice.
that way.
So next area, sir, I want to talk about is about postings. So I mean, this is also something very close to the heart of people. I don't know. A lot of people have this craze, to get posted near their homes or maybe the home state itself.
Right.
So, sir, is there any chance you can get a posting of your choice? Though I know that SEBI has very limited presence in other states, vis-a-vis the strength in Mumbai. But is there any chance you can get posting of your preference?
See, um, there was a situation where SEBI was opening offices every state, in every state, and but with the all the all the aspects of securities market becoming electronic, then a
Hmm.
physical location does not matter. Such
Hmm.
offices were not helping out. It was not feasible to have offices at so many places. Now,
Hmm.
as of date, SEBI has presence in 5, 6 places. It is Mumbai being the head office, Delhi. There are 4 regional offices: Northern region Delhi, Western region Ahmedabad, Eastern region Kolkata, and Southern region in Chennai. Besides that, there is only one local office, which is in Indore, Madhya
Hmm.
Pradesh. That is all. If now, now the people can make their choice, either to change their state or to join whatever office they are offered.
Hmm.
This is what it stands.
Hmm. But sir, are there any circumstances in which HR might consider that okay, चलो इनको ये posting दे दो, इनको जरूरत है? I mean, are they considerate about your personal needs sometimes during
No,
emergencies?
no, they are considered fine.
Hmm.
But the point is, if you want a posting in Chhattisgarh and there is no office in Chhattisgarh,
Uh-huh.
then
That cannot happen.
you cannot, you should not even be asking for it.
Hmm. And sir, uh, they have very limited offices, say in Delhi or Mumbai, and you said three, four other locations. But what is the best center in terms of learning opportunities? I hope it would be Mumbai. Am I right on that?
You're perfectly right. And Mumbai, because it has all the departments there,
Hmm.
all the departments, and major activity and policy making happens at that place.
And sir, is there any transfer policy with respect to locations, not interdepartmental, with respect to locations?
Yes, with respect to locations also, people are you cannot be saying that I'll continue to be in Chennai for my lifelong. That's not possible. I
Hmm.
mean, 3 to 5 years, 6 years, you'll be posted to another office.
But in Mumbai, one can stay for entire life. That's
That's
a
quite
possible.
possible. That's possible because as of now, also I was reading the statistics
Huh.
that from the annual report of um, 22-23,
Hmm.
there are about 90% of the staff is in Mumbai.
Hmm.
So I think the writing is clear.
Hmm. Writing is clear. That can be inferred from this. And sir, any chance to serve abroad? Do SEBI has abroad offices or any chance to go on a deputation to some, other department or other countries' central regulator?
See, this this opportunity comes. This
Hmm.
opportunity comes, but for
Hmm.
performers who perform well, and SEBI people have gone on deputation
Hmm.
to various regulators around the
Hmm.
world.
Sir,
One of the SEBI officials, my colleague was, in fact, very trickily became a CEO of another country's regulator.
oh wow,
So on deputation,
on deputation.
on deputation.
So, so did he return back?
Of course, he came back.
Okay. And sir, any chance of posting with World Bank or IMF, any kind of these postings with prestigious
See,
organizations?
yeah, World Bank, and all they are more banking and economy
Uh,
related.
uh,
It's not SEBI's domain. That's more of an RBI domain.
yes,
Those things will be with RBI. SEBI has a different set of bodies.
exactly.
Huh, that way.
And sir, now I want to discuss about departments a little bit again, though we have touched upon that a little while ago. It's very clear that it's very difficult to get a location of your choice because, I mean, majority would go to Mumbai.
Yes, of
But what
course.
about the departments? If, say, somebody is from a commerce background, can he have have a say in what department is allocated to him, or that would be sole discretion of the HR or the SEBI officers?
See, there are a lot of people who are coming with commerce background or um, like what is the if one looks at the what is the kind of staff which SEBI has.
Hmm.
A lot of people, you have MBAs, CAs, ICWAs, company secretaries, CFAs. Now, this aspect is all covering commerce.
Hmm.
MBA, CA, ICWA, CS, CFA is all covering commerce.
Hmm.
What is left is a BTech plus MBA.
Hmm.
Now that of in MBA you have gone into commerce.
Hmm.
So very few people are there who are just MCOM.
Hmm.
In fact, if you say the non-professional category is very small. You will have, I mean, less than 10% of the people who will not have a professional qualification. So, and it is the SEBI HR which has the say in this, depending on where there is a requirement. It depends on which department needs how many people and of what background, which is an internal exercise.
And sir, once the department is allocated to anyone, then after that, is there any policy on transfers between the departments? Say after 5 years, it is mandatory to move from one department to another, so that a person can learn overall, about the different departments during his tenure of say 30 years.
Yes, you will go through many departments. Every like 3 to 5 years you'll be moved. 3 to 5 years you'll be moved from that division, that department. It'll happen, and the number of departments is more. I really can't assure that one will be able to do every department. And yes, people will also be posted to establishment, HR. So everything is a useful department in the organization.
So there is a standard policy for it, or is it like
there is a
there is
policy?
a policy for it?
Yes.
And sir, now what about the promotions? I understand from the earlier conversation that it is a mix of time based and performance based. I mean, you cannot get it too early, and maybe you will not get it if you don't perform well. But say if somebody joins at a age of 23, 24, I think that would be where most of the candidates would be joining. What is the highest level one can reach, assuming he's a high performer till retirement?
See, as organization becomes wider, things will change. But I, uh, I can tell you, like the SEBI employee, as a SEBI employee, we have someone who has risen to the level of full-time member, which is a board position.
Yes.
So what else you want to hear?
So there is a scope. There is a scope. You
There's
just need to
scope.
work hard.
You can be anything. One doesn't know whether the person may become chairman also.
And sir, what are the perks? Some of the perks that you get at the higher level only, and maybe not at the start. There would be some perks, maybe a car or a driver, or I'm talking about monetary perks here.
See what happens as it is. SEBI encourages you to even at a lower level to acquire a car. You can take loan for a car. At a senior level, what will happen that SEBI will provide a car on its own, but that will come at a level E or F, like a level F, which is I mean at least 20 years away.
20 years.
20 years away. But you are, I mean, SEBI will encourage you to, you want to buy a car, you can buy a car, and after some time they'll give you petrol also.
Yeah, I'm sure, sir. I mean, people at the more people at the lower level would have cars than people at the senior level. Young generation is very much now fascinated about all this.
And I've seen people who have done some 2 3 years of service, they are driving SUVs.
Yeah, I also see, sir, my students share photos on Facebook and all. So most of them first thing they do is buy a car, and within 2 3 years, the second thing they do is getting married. That is a very common thing I've seen happening across most of our students who are getting selected. Sir, what are the challenges at a higher level? Vis-a-vis when you're working as a fresher, obviously, I mean, you are being secured by your boss and everything. I mean, there is no that high responsibility. But if you go higher, say you are at a CGM level, say. Now, what are the challenges at that level? Obviously, you get more responsibility and more power also, uh, and more opportunity to learn and contribute. But what are the major challenges that can be faced at a higher level?
Yeah, at a higher level, the responsibility level is much higher, and you have lots of areas to cover. Lots of areas to cover. I mean, you will be having something like 50, 60, 70 people reporting in the department. So that kind of work pressures happen, and you are answerable both places. You have to deliver. That delivery has to happen on time. Just give me a moment. I'll switch on the AC. Just give me a moment.
Yes.
Yeah. You are grilling me so hard that I'm sweating now.
Nahin, sir. I mean, all these are the questions from the aspirants. So I'm just representing them because they're very curious. Though I know at this stage they would be more focused on their studies because all these things I'm sure SEBI will take care.
I think we could take some of the questions if they want
Yes, sir.
or
Yes,
whatever.
sir. Yeah.
I can see so many questions coming up on the chat
Yeah.
box.
Sir, the first question which I am seeing a lot of aspirants are asking is about the prohibition or non-prohibition on trading. So if you're a SEBI employee, can you or your family members invest in stock markets?
Mm, see, the staff member and dependents, staff member and dependents can invest in stock market through the mutual fund route,
Okay, not directly.
not directly.
Okay.
I, I think that is the benchmark statement one should note.
Yes. Sir, Akshara Raju is asking again a very interesting question. Is proficiency in English writing essential? Not for recruitment. I'm hoping she is asking for while working at the job because a lot of people in India are from such background, they're not proficient in English. So is that a basic requirement if you want to excel in job after selection?
See, I think that is a skill which can come on the job also. The Although we are in Maharashtra um, where the state language is Marathi,
Hmm.
the state language is Marathi. All the work in state government is done in Marathi. In SEBI, we are following English,
Hmm.
other than the official language department. So it is in English, but I think that is something
Learned.
which can be learned. Once there is a job requirement, it can be learned. It should not deter a person from uh, putting in the effort.
Yes, sir. And sir, again, it's a very interesting question. What is the thought of SEBI to hire engineers? Because in the qualification eligibility, they mentioned either post graduation or in graduation legal. Legal makes sense, and they have written BTech. So, what is that thought process that okay, in graduation we will hire only engineers?
No, no. See what has happened. The eligibility norms for all direct officer positions have been made common. What you will find for civil services, the similar norms will be there.
Hmm.
Even a basic graduate is eligible. The point is whether these people will be able to crack the examination. Who will have a better chance to crack the examination and the interview?
Hmm.
So that is where it makes a difference.
Hmm.
BTech is eligible, but a lot of we have a lot of people who are BTech, but they are BTech with MBA.
Hmm.
Most people are BTech with MBA.
Hmm.
So so they have besides their engineering background, they also have the management and commerce background.
Another very interesting question, sir, directly to you. What are your expectations from upcoming officers? Say, I mean, as a person who has worked in SEBI, what kind of vision you would like them to have, the aspirants, and how they can contribute to society once they join SEBI?
See, as I mentioned, overall the work is for the general good, and a lot of opportunity is there. A lot of opportunity is there. We are worried like mutual funds. Mutual funds have been made better, safer, more efficient.
Hmm.
Spread of that. You can help in spreading that culture. If you help out people in your own domain, the the society will overall benefit. And
Hmm.
what matters is you have to be dedicated to the job. You cannot be kind of shirking around because a lot of for people who want to work, there's a lot of work and a lot of opportunity, challenging opportunity. And if people are worried that what SEBI looks after, SEBI has some time. I mean, this happened during my period itself that um, we wanted to do some data analytics. Data
Hmm.
analytics had to be done. So internally, I mean, circular was issued that who all know Python and R,
Hmm.
who all know Python. So, or who can learn, whatever. So, so whoever is willing, you can write. So a lot of people applied. People who were from a background with a BTech or whatever, or whichever, or they could do it. And some people cracked that exam. We wanted to set up new divisions. Our management wanted that thing. People who qualified that exam, the first batch, it was sent to Chicago for advanced training.
Wow.
Another batch was sent to Kuala Lumpur. Now, these are, whether you're grade A or grade B, it doesn't matter. You crack that exam, SEBI wants you to work, will not look back.
Hmm.
So then SEBI doesn't spare any expense.
Hmm. So there is another very interesting question. I'm not sure if this question is correct or not, because the question is, SEBI is not doing any awareness campaign on, say, protection in the capital markets for the consumers like RBI does. Like RBI का campaign चलता है to make aware people के fraud से बचो. So why does SEBI is not doing any awareness campaign as such to make people aware about the frauds in the capital markets? Because a lot of people are considering stock market as a quick way to make money, and in fact, our finance minister, she's also talking about these derivatives and all these days. The retail investors should be made aware about derivatives because they are very risky instruments. So, is SEBI doing any awareness campaign like that? If no, why not? I mean,
This is a question from a candidate, or it is coming as a public criticism?
uh, I think this is a very valid question, not a criticism. We all know SEBI is doing a good work. And
Okay.
this also kind of, I also noticed it for the first time because I see a lot of RBI ads, but not SEBI, any campaign by SEBI.
See, campaign by SEBI is happening. It is not that it is not happening.
Hmm.
So there are two aspects to it. One is financial literacy, other is investor education.
Hmm.
So these are two areas. For financial literacy also, things are happening.
Hmm.
That is a joint effort by all the regulators.
Hmm.
There's a separate organization which is working on that. And for investor education, again, SEBI is not able to do all the program on its own. So what we have is our resource people, resource persons. SEBI empanels resource persons to conduct the program on its behalf.
Hmm.
Okay. So for which the material is developed by SEBI. It is, I mean, people want to know, there are 7 areas where people are touched. One is students, young professionals, housewives, middle-aged executives, retired people, self-employed. There are 7 categories for which all material is there. These programs are conducted through resource persons. And who are the resource persons who are empaneled? They are not SEBI employees. They could be teachers. They could be practicing chartered accountants who want to take the session. So these people, teachers, some qualified housewives, because it happens that there are ladies who have done their MCOM and everything, but due to family issues, they are not able to take up a job. So this becomes a side thing. What you have to do, or the people do, they conduct sessions for people in the society, in their particular
Hmm.
age, in the particular focus group,
Hmm.
in which there should be 30 to 40 people.
Hmm.
And that program is free for the people who participate.
Hmm.
But the person who does it, he or she is provided all the material, plus there's a financial incentive also. And I can tell you, this is my statistic when I was the regional director of Western region, which will be till 2013 to 2015-16. I mean, within my region, we were doing something like 2,500 programs.
Wow.
The payments which we were making from SEBI, from my office itself, that office was over 1 crore.
Hmm.
So this is, and see, that time there was a lot of plantation companies which were giving you like get rich quick.
Hmm.
इन्होंने लगाया, आप इधर इधर अवेलेबल, कुमार साहब ने पैसे लगाए हैं, इधर those are clips,
Hmm.
आप इन्होंने पैसे लगाए, वो इतने पैसे हो गए. There are so many things on that.
Hmm.
It And now most of it has moved on to, instead of TV, it has moved on to the other media, social media. So that way one doesn't see with the music and all, but it's there. What you see these days is mutual funds ads. Mutual funds ads, because again, this is what SEBI has asked them to do, ads to spread the mutual funds. That fund earmarking also is a initiative of SEBI. But everywhere you're writing, mutual funds are subject to market risk. Please read all scheme documents. If you are investing something, please consult your investment advisor. So it has moved on to that, not on TV.
Not on TV, but
So the reach is different. Reach is much higher there.
In closed groups. And sir, is there any work profile where you are required to do traveling?
You could be doing traveling anywhere. Any profile.
Any profile. There is one question with respect to strategy. So sir will not be able to answer it. The question is, can we complete phase 1 preparation in 30 days? Samanjit, it's better you write this to our email ID, hello@edutap.co.in. I think somebody will guide you. Sir, next question is, sir, this is also a very common question that we keep receiving. So a lot of people are preparing for UPSC or for some other exams during their prime, say 21 to 25, and then they're preparing for SEBI. Suppose they crack the phase 2 exam and then they appear for the interview. Will that impact their chances in some way, that what you have been doing through all these 4 years, showing that they didn't have clarity?
So these things happen. A lot of people have been doing preparing for civil services and other exams and all. So that everyone understands. The interview panel understands.
I think they just need to be honest in the interview.
They just need to be honest. That's so many people.
So there's a question from Shivangi. She's worried about the work profile, that being from a non-commerce background, though she's being hired for a journalist profile, but will she be able to cope up with the work? Will she be given enough training and handholding during her say initial days, so that she can cope up with the work and understand everything there?
Of course, that is true. But you have to put in, if you don't have the background, you'll have to put in extra effort.
Arvind is asking, can I be posted to Indore local office after working 2-3 years in Mumbai office? I think sir has already answered. It depends upon the requirement.
Yes.
The chances are very less because mostly people get posted in Mumbai. So there is a chance because there is office, but you never know. No, what's the requirement there? Sir, there is another question from Rajiv Datta. What are these roles and responsibilities of SEBI Grade A officer who is being hired as a in the information technology domain? Are they doing hardcore coding there for those who are being hired in IT domain?
Not necessarily. They will not write full. I mean, the bigger programs they will not write, but they will always be writing something for amendment, for some changes on that, some upgradation that they could be writing, but not like the SEBI automation program that is given to some large agency only.
And sir, does SEBI has somebody is a sports player here, Arya Malik. She's asking, or he's asking, does SEBI nominate sports player? I'm not sure what her question is. Maybe she's trying to say, is there any quota for sports player to get recruited, or after getting selected through the general quota, does SEBI has a some sports team or something like that?
I mean, see, the reservations and all are all mentioned in the advertisement. I will not be able to comment on that.
There is no sports quota as such, which I know from my reading of the notification. And sir, this is also a question which a lot of people are asking. Your advice on some do's and don'ts for the interview. I mean, as a SEBI officer, what would you look in a person while you are interviewing him or her? some do's and don'ts that they should be taking care of?
Yeah, I think that is a stage which will come later. First, let the people concentrate on clearing their phase 1 and phase 2 exams, and then when they come to that level, that time also, I mean, EduTap conducts some sessions for them. They give the guidance comes for that. So let it come to that stage.
Fine, sir.
Would you want to put in anyone to ask a question by speaking or something?
Yeah.
Anyone
So
want
guys,
to
if
know?
you want to ask if you want to ask a question in person, you can just raise your hand through Zoom software. I'll give you a chance to unmute yourself, and then you can ask your question. If anybody wants to come forward. Yeah, so we have 2, 3 candidates. So let me first give chance to Harshada Naik. Guys, if you can just switch on your cameras, it would be really good.
Hi, sir.
Hi,
Am I
Harshada.
audible?
Yes, Harshada, you are audible. A very good evening to you. So
Good
please let me
evening,
know
sir.
what your question is to sir.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good evening, Piyush, sir. Actually, I just wanted to ask, I have done my master's in MCOM, like MCOM finance. I have done my master's in finance, and I'm not an MBA or CFA or CA candidate. So, like, what best can I do to enhance my chances for the selection in SEBI exam?
So you don't have to do anything. The exam is just round the corner. So at this moment, nothing.
Right.
Your capability and your knowledge vis-a-vis your MCOM, that should suffice you to clear.
Sir, is there anything like CA or CMA students or like CFA students have like they are being prioritized more than MCOM or like finance students? Like, is there anything like that?
See, please understand. If you see the advertisement itself, the advertisement is mentioning that what kind of weightages would be given for the exam and for the interview. So if you score
Right.
sufficiently high, that should cover that aspect. No? It's not that
Okay.
the only interview will matter. That first you clear the exam, once you clear the benchmark, then we'll consider only interview. It's not like that. It is an overall score.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Anjit, sir.
Thank you, Harshada. So next question, let's take it from Rahul Gupta. Rahul, if you can unmute yourself, please.
गुड इवनिंग
Hi,
सर।
Rahul.
हाँ जी सर। सर सर मेरा क्वेरी था सर कि सर मैंने निफ्ट में ग्रेजुएशन किया है, तो आई एम एलिजिबल फॉर सीबी और नॉट?
आपका आवाज ठीक से नहीं आया।
सर मैंने एनआईएपी से मैंने ग्रेजुएशन किया इन बीएफटेक, बैचलर इन फैशन टेक्नोलॉजी। तो माय क्वेरी इज कि आई एम एलिजिबल फॉर सीबी और नॉट?
देखिए, as long as you have done a course which is approved by, which is on the approved list, which is by a university or an approved institution, you will be eligible. Just diploma courses which are not, any course which is equivalent to a degree will be eligible. If it is not equivalent, then it is a problem.
Equivalent to degree, sir.
Huh? If it is
Equivalent
equivalent,
to 4-year degree, sir. 4-year degree.
yes, of course, sure, you are eligible. Now the other thing is that having done national fashion technology, whether you are otherwise equipped to be able to handle the questions. That's it. If you can do it, perfect, not an issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Rahul. Next is Nikhil. Guys, I'll just take 2 more questions because we are already running out of time. Rahul and Nikhil and Dudaram. Yeah, Nikhil.
Hello, sir.
Hi,
Sir,
Nikhil.
I had a question regarding whether doing some certification courses from NISM help in the interview. There are some short certificate courses on NISM website. So will that help in the interview if I do that now?
Definitely that will help. Definitely, because they are related to the job profile that you will be performing. So if you clear such certification exams, they will be helpful.
But
Okay,
Nikhil,
sir.
just to add, do not do that at the cost of your study for the examination. So
Yes, sir.
that should be your second priority. It will definitely help. But abhi time nahi hai.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है? Phase 2 के बाद you can try out before your interview.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
So last question for the day, Dudaram.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Thank you for this session. My query is generally it's not related to exam prep. So I have heard Mumbai most of the time will go and traveling in local. So how far are SEBI accounts and SEBI office? And if we opt for lease, so does HRA is sufficient or how does it work?
Do you understand the question, sir? I'm not able to hear it.
I'm not able to make out. Let him write it. I'm not
Maybe
able to.
you can just type it. Dudaram, if you can just type it in the chat window, I may take it up. Please type it in next 1 minute. Okay.
Meanwhile, we can take another question from.
I'll just take one more question, sir. And again, seems to be an interesting comparison. How do you compare civil services profile with SEBI? Because a lot of people aspiring for civil services not able to clear it, then they aspire for SEBI. So, what is your advice to them rather than comparing it? What is your advice to them?
See, this is a matter of personal preferences. Personal preference. Someone is just he's all out to do civil services only. Nothing else comes in his mind. And so there are some people who have that we want to work in organizations like RBI, SEBI, NABARD, etc. They're more interested in that. But these are totally different spheres of influence. What you do. IAS is also a lot of public services involved. You are administering the whole district and the country thereafter.
Fine. Sir, another last question. This is also a question which you might feel that the student is drilling you. Why SEBI vacancies are not regular, sir? I mean, it's a great organization having a lot of work areas, but the employee strength is very small. Maybe they are automating it, or and I don't know how they are managing it. But why SEBI vacancies are not regular? Do they don't require people?
Well, SEBI by design, we will always be small. We will not be very large. But you see the impact that what we make in the market.
Yes. We know.
If you talk to anyone else, anyone in the generally who doesn't know, they will say, "Oh, you should be at least 20,000 people."
Yes.
The kind of work you do, you should be at least 20,000 people, 30,000 people. And then when you tell them, "Look, we are only 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 people," and people wonder. So you have to excel. IT wise, etc. Yes, all facilities are given, not a problem. SEBI, on your desk there'll be a PC and not single screen, double screen PCs. We'll give you double screen PCs, and you are encouraged to buy your own laptops. That facility is also there. You have to perform. And vis-a-vis, I just saw Mr. Duda's this thing. See, Bombay is a city of distances. It is a very expensive place. It is an expensive place, and to be able to afford an accommodation very close to the office is out of reach of most people. So people have to travel long distances. That is true, and you spend time on that. So to the extent that SEBI can help out, SEBI does help out, but other than that, you have to manage on your own.
And so what about work from home facility? Is it allowed for a certain number of days?
I think originally it was there, but over after COVID, it has been kind of discontinued.
Then I think that's it. Though there are still a list of questions that we can discuss, but as you said, now then we might be doing tomorrow's breakfast here only. So I would like to thank you, sir, for your expert comments on the various questions in various areas that you answered. And I would also like to add a disclaimer once again at the end of this session that the information and the views that has been expressed during this session by Piyush Gupta, sir, is for journal guidance. It is based on his experience and understanding about SEBI after working in SEBI for so many years. Is not an expert who's kind of an authority on behalf of SEBI here. So if you have any doubt and if you want to 100% clear on any specific thing, I would request you to please write an email to SEBI. The email ID must be there on their website, and it's prudent, advisable that you get their comments, because their view will be final in any of those cases where you want exact information. So with that, I take your leave, sir, and thank you for coming here, spending your precious time in the evening, and I hope to have more such sessions in the near future with you, sir.
Thank you, and best of luck to everyone. Do try hard. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, everyone.